In today's video, we will be taking the worst team in England available in FC26, that being the 24th place Barrow in League 2, and we will be taking them to the Premier League and the title of European Champions. Now time for the rules. The rules we will be playing with is playing with strict transfers. We're only allowed to make one free agent signing per season, and it can only be a youth player. We are only allowed one academy scout per league. So for example, one in League 2, one in League 1. Etc. And we are only allowed to loan in one player per season to make this as hard as possible. Alright, so the first thing we're going to have a look at in this rebuild is our squad, and it looks like we have some pretty good... We've got a few good quality players for this league, however, no real standouts. Our best player being 64 rated Jackson at right back. However, we also do have a pretty quality keeper in Stanway and a quality striker in Rose, both rated 63 overalls. And then in our reserves as well, we do have a few good pieces as well, such as Berku Huizen. So if I said that wrong, and we also got Whitfield off the bench as well. So the first thing we're going to do is just move them into our starting 11. And we're also going to have a look at a few more changes we could make. And from the looks of it, this looks pretty much all good in terms of our squad quality at the start. However, we are going to go through and improve this now to hopefully get to League 1. In terms of our starting budget, it looks like we're going to be starting with a total of 1.2 million, which is pretty good for a League 2 side, especially since in real life they got relegated. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to get our youth scouts all ready. So we're just going to go and fire Jackson Wood now, as he's just a one star. And it looks like we are going to go with Jackson Pettit. He's not too expensive, has 3-star experience, 2-star judgment. I mean, I could go for Alex Wilkinson. However, that would be almost our entire budget gone off the get-go. So we might as well play it safe and get a few transfers in, just to be safe in case we can't sell any of our players. And we're going to just go have a search in Spain to try and find some centre-back and centre-defence mid-qualities. Just so we can improve our squad and potentially have good enough depth to change the formations if we need to at any point. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And then now as well, while we're on the academy screen, let's have a quick look at the youth squad. And it looks like we've got no standouts from the get-go. We've only got a few that have good potential as well. That being Eno Tevenen with a potential of 68 to 92 and Oscar Doya with a potential of 62 to 84. So we actually got really unlucky with the academy at the start. However, there's nothing you can really do about it, and we can easily improve this as we go on. Now we're going to go through and get our one and only free agent signing for the season, and we're just going to have a look at our at all these young stars, having a look at the potential and stuff. Oh my goodness. 16 years of age, 99 potential. I think that's going to be the guy that we are going to go and sign up if he isn't going to be like, no, I don't want to play for you. Yeah, he's not willing to play for us. That is all goodsies. Fucking close this. Alright, now let's look for another option here. I like the sounds of getting like a keeper or something like that. We'll just go ahead and we'll go scout a few of these. Go ahead and scout a few of these like young stars with high potential, and then I'll cut back when the scouting has gone through. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the scouting has just came through, and it's looking like our best option is going to be this goalkeeper from Colombia, Cristobal Marquez. He's a 70 rated keeper. We're going to go ahead and try to sign him up. And so our first signing of the video is complete. Cristobal Marquez, goalkeeper from Colombia. Alright, now it's time for us to play our first game as manager. and it is against Chesterfield in League 2. Now, obviously, this isn't the first game. We obviously did a pre-season tournament, which we lost miserably, like it happens every first season. But here we go, first game in League 2, and we get the 1-0 win over Chesterfield. That means we are 1-0-0 on the season. And now that we have our first game out of the way, we're now going to sim to the transfer deadline, and I will cut back to you guys when we reach the deadline. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see here, we are now officially at deadline day, and we have had a pretty good first month, I'd probably say. We've only lost one game, and that was to Milton Keynes Dons. We also had that draw against Harrogate. However, other than that, in the league, we currently sit with 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. We also won our opening 2 rounds of the Carabao Cup, and we also sit 5th in League 2 at the moment, which is a playoff position, which is a very, very good start. And as well as you can obviously see here, our budget has gone up a lot, and that is because we've sold 2 players so far. That being Niall Canavan, our 62 rated centre back, which we sold to Mansfield for $380,000. And Ben Jackson, who was our highest rated player before the signing of Marquez, our 65 rated left back, we sold to Casina for 1.2 million, which I would probably say is a good lot of selling players. But now we're going to go rebuild and sign some more players. And so now deadline day is officially done. That is the end of the first transfer window. And now we're just going to simulate, and I'll come back to you guys in January for the winter window. And just the day after the deadline, our youth scout has found us 2 amazing players that will fit into the squad really well. Jesus Casas, a 60 rated left mid out of Spain, and Lucas Gonzalez, who is a centre mid 17-year-old, 61 rated from Spain as well, both with high potentials. This is very good out of our academy. Alright, so as you can obviously see now, it is January, and I did accidentally sim a bit too far into January. We've simmed about 10 days into January. However, things are looking incredible right now. We currently sit either 3rd or 4th in League 2, which means we're either 1 place from instant promotion, if not already in instant promotion already, and that is just superb considering of where this team is at in real life. And our first course of action for this transfer window is to obviously improve the squad to get a fast finish, or good finish to the campaign. And as you can see here, we've got a bunch of already scouted players that we're just going to scout further, see if they're any good. Maybe we buy some, maybe we don't. The hope is that they're good enough to be added to our squad. And now we are at deadline day for the second and final deadline of the season, this being the winter window, and our scouting reports have came through. We got 64, 63. We have a 61 here. And for some of these, we're just going to have to kind of go off of what the scouting report that already exists says. So we're going to have to base it off the potential. But we're going to go through. We're going to go sign a few of these. And I will come back to you guys as soon as I've signed some, and I'll let you know who I have signed. And ladies and gentlemen, we have made our first transfer of deadline day window. We have signed Luca Cannell from Barnsley for 1.9 million. He's a really good young player, 69 rated CDM centre mid. He is a great addition to this squad, and that will spark the end to what I would consider a very successful transfer window. Now, we've caused ourselves a little bit of a problem here. We went too hard on trying to sign Luca Cannell, and we unfortunately won't have youth scouting for the second half of the season. But however, the first 6 months of scouting went really well, so I don't think this will impact us too much. And this is the squad following the second transfer window. As you can see, we've progressed ourselves a lot with the additions of Gonzalez and Casas, 2 of our new recruits out of the academy, and we can also see that Marquez has developed a little bit as the season has gone on as well. And the addition of Canel is really bringing us a lot in that midfield in terms of rating. And you can also notice some of the sellings that we have done as well, with Newbie moving into our forward right back position. Also, our starting right back position. However, I'm confident that we can get promoted this season with this squad. It is a really good squad for the level that we are at. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this final match day. The difference between us going up instantly or us having to battle it out through the playoffs. We have Newport County, Chesterfield have Swindon. All we need to do is get a draw out of this game with Newport County for us to go straight up to League One automatically. Here we go. We're going to do a quick sim. And we are going to League One, baby! Straight promotion, first season. Let's go! As you can see here, the season has come to a close. We have secured instant promotion to League One, first season. And let's hope that we can back it up next season and go straight to the championship with back-to-back promotions. See you next season. So, I was just going through all of our finishes for the season, and I actually didn't know this, but we somehow made it to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. And, in fact, we only lost that on pens. So we were only one goal away from making the semi-finals, or technically 3 penalties. But still, that is amazing in a domestic cup such as the Carabao Cup. For such a young team like ourselves that are down in League 2, this would be a great addition to our transfer budget. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you can clearly see, it is now the 2026-27 season, and we are now in League 1. And as you saw on the previous slide, we saw the teams that will be joining us in League 1 from being promoted from League 2 and also being relegated from the Championship. Those relegated teams are the ones that will be the scariest challenges for us. And this here is the team that we are starting with in this season. However, we'll obviously improve it a little bit before we start the campaign. Marquez has developed really well over the off-season, going up to a 75 overall, same as Canel, who has gone up to a 70. So you can see as well, Anderson has progressed really well. He has broken into our starting 11. But we should be able to improve the squad really well, as we do have $3 million available in our transfer budget, which is more than enough for us to build a really quality squad to get to the championship. As you look at that, this will obviously be our first signing. Gilberto Mora is still a free agent. This will be our free agent signing for the season. He's worth 15 million at 17 years of age. That is unheard of. We were successful in our negotiations. We have got the wonder kid known as Gilberto Mora added to the squad. This is an incredible addition. And as well, we also did have an option to buy Amlani Tattoo as a part of our loan agreement with Adelaide United. And we are going to buy him and make him a prominent part of our squad. Add him to the squad, sorry, as he develops really well in this game. And now we have also acquired our one and only loan for the season. It is Cheeto Obi from Manchester United for 12 months. Now as well, we're also going to set up our youth staff for the second season. Now, obviously with us getting promoted, as per the rules set to make this more challenging, we are now allowed a second scout. And looking at this, we're going to go with Kieran Martin. 3-star judgment, 2-star experience. We're going to sign him up, and then we're going to just go ahead and scout. And there we go. We will be scouting in Canada and Australia for the first 6 months of the season. And obviously as well, with our promotion, the most important thing is we also get access to coaches now. And for now, we're only able to afford 2 coaches. However, we're going to sell some players, and we're going to improve our coaches. And as you can see here from these notifications, we have sold a few players, and now we're able to improve our coaches. And there we go. That looks good now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the curtain raiser of the 2026-27 League 1 season. We will be playing Barnsley in our first game. And we get the win 2-1 with our two new recruits, Obi and Mora, scoring goals for us. That is fantastic. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as you can clearly see, we are now at the first of two deadline days for the season. And now for this deadline day, we sit in 4th in League One. However, team's going great. However, we have almost no depth. Problem fixed. And now, as deadline day comes to a close, this is the squad we will be running with this season, all finalising everything, well, at least up until the next window. But yeah, I will see you guys at the January window unless my youth academy has some nice prospects for me. And as you can clearly see, we have officially reached the winter transfer window. We currently sit in 5th position. I am most likely not going to make any changes to the squad. However, if any options do present themselves, obviously we will take it. Yes, what you are looking at is real. We had to sell Lucas Gonzalez for 3.1 million as he put it in a transfer request to the club and was also very angry. We ended up using that money from the Gonzalez selling to get Hills, which improves our centre back position. Just saw deadline day is officially over, and this is the squad we will be running with for the remainder of the 26-27 campaign. I am confident that we will be able to make playoffs. I don't know if we make championship this year, but hopefully we do. But I am positive that we will make the playoffs, and we will now cut to the end of the season. Or if my academy scouts find anything promising, then we'll cut to that. Now, unfortunately, the simulation wasn't too nice and kind to us, and we have unfortunately finished 12th. So we will not be getting promoted this year, but next year we're going to just speed run through everything, try and get promoted next season. And this is the squad we're going to be running with after a few transfers. As I said, we're just going to speed run this season, get to championship as quick as possible, and yeah. And this is how the team looks after the second transfer window, aka the winter window. Pretty much did the best I could, to be honest, but you know, it'll either be like last year where we're good enough, where on paper we look good enough and we just don't get it done in reality, or this time around we might be a bit luckier. Who knows? But stay tuned to find out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot make this up. We have somehow found ourselves in an FA Cup semi-final against Nottingham Forest. I don't know how we're in the semi-final. I personally wanted to lose ages ago, but here we go. And we lose. We lose like 5 rounds after I wanted us to, but that's just kind of cool, you know. Made the semi-final of the FA Cup. We made the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup a few years ago. We actually made a semi-final this time. Would have been good to get Europe out of League One, but like still, you know, kind of got to focus on getting the championship. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. We have successfully made it to the promotion playoffs. We managed to finish in 6th, and therefore we play the 3rd place to Peterborough in the playoffs to hopefully get to championship. First leg ends up being 0-0, and as well, from the fact it was 0-0 last game, and also because I simulated it and watched it, it looked like we weren't creating many opportunities and also weren't defending very good either. So we've gone ahead and changed the formation here. I low-key found this on Reddit, but like, you know, we don't tell anyone. Shh. But yeah, we'll see how this goes, and hopefully this works out for us. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, a 115th minute winner by Costello has put us through to the playoff final to get to the championship. I can't believe it. And now, us going to the championship this year, or having to wait at least another year, all comes down to this. Wembley Stadium against Leyton Orient. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the championship. We did it. Let's go. And I think now is a good time to leave this off for now. In part 2, we are going to go up to the Premier League and maybe even win European football, something Arsenal cannot do. But anyways, for now, have a good one. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and make sure to subscribe for 7 years of good luck. Goodbye.